Coming up on today's show, we introduce new presenter Sheila Kanani, and she shows us how to make a rocket out of simple kitchen items. Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Blue Peter. You might have noticed that A, we're not in the studio today, and B, that I'm not Helen or Barney. Well, my name's Sheila and I'm your new presenter. I thought that for a change, and so you could get to know me a little bit better, we should conduct today's episode from my wonderful abode here in central Lancashire. Let's start with the top 10 facts about me.
My favourite things are doing science, telling stories, and telling stories about doing science. My best science joke is this. Have you heard that oxygen and magnesium are dating? It's like OMG. Get it? OMG? Like the periodic table? Yeah, I know it's kind of silly, but my students at school understood it because we've been learning about chemical elements. I've had lots of embarrassing moments in my life, but one recent one was when I first started school to teach, not as a student. I rocked up to reception last September and the ladies at reception told me to be quiet and sit still because they thought I was a student. They didn't realise I was a new teacher. I always make sure I wear my staff ID badge now. This is one of my most favourite pictures from the Cassini mission, which helped me do my PhD. It shows tiny moon Enceladus, just 1/230th the size of its parent planet Saturn. If Enceladus was the size of your thumbnail, Saturn would be about the size of a double-decker bus. So you can see how small Enceladus really is, but it's incredible. As we zoom in on this picture, you can see Enceladus is spewing out liquid water from its south pole. And as it does so, it populates Saturn's E-ring. So for a small moon, it really does have a big impact on Saturn. Like tiny Enceladus, I'm a small thing in a big world, but I hope to have a big impact on the world, just like Enceladus has on Saturn. And they do say that great things come in small packages, just like diamonds and of course dynamite. I love dressing up and wearing crazy clothes. The other week when I did a show, I dressed up as a giant star, but it was an age 3 costume. I'm not 3. It was in front of 500 people, including my mum and dad. I bet they were so proud. These are my Christmas trousers. They're my most favourite possession. I love wearing them at Christmas, but none of my friends will go out with me when I'm wearing them because they're too embarrassed. And I've recently dressed up as Mulan because she is the coolest cartoon heroine ever. And I have some trainers with wings on them. Whilst my first language is English, I also speak Spanish. ¿Dónde está mi gato gruñón? And a bit of Gujarati. Tome mare sate dance karucho? Behind me you can see my trusty sleeping bag. It's been with me on all my adventures. I've been travelling since I was 5 months old, on and off, and I've visited almost every continent in the world. My favourite country is probably Peru. I loved visiting Machu Picchu. I felt like Indiana Jones discovering a new city. I think my proudest moments are learning how to drive. I have a really cool yellow car. I put the stripes on myself. Getting my PhD, that was a pretty big achievement. And then getting married last year. And I think my most proudest possession, either a piece of moon rock or my flight suit from NASA. Just behind me you can see a picture of a whale shark. It's the biggest fish in the sea and I swam with some on Christmas Day. It was so cool. It felt really great to be a science teacher recently when I was teaching some year 7s about astronomy, and one girl, who's normally a little bit feisty, came up to me and said, "Wow, miss, you know everything about everything. You are the smartest person I've ever met." I was pretty pleased with myself then. If I won the lottery, I'd probably give most of the money to charity and the rest of it to my parents because I think they're amazing. And then I'd have to spend about £200,000 becoming a space tourist with Virgin Galactic.
Talking about going into space, we'd need a rocket ship to get there, and I'm going to show you how to make a rocket ship using everyday kitchen items such as a tea bag. Safety first though, always get an adult to help you when you're using scissors and matches. So the first thing you do is get the tea bag and cut the top off, nice and square, and then we don't need the tea, so we can empty the tea bag out. You can use the tea later to drink from, and you can see you've made a nice cylindrical shape. Then you place your cylindrical tea bag onto something fireproof, and here's one I made earlier, like so. Then you get some matches and you light the top of the tea bag. And as the tea bag starts to burn, the hot air changes density and it starts to rise, taking the tea bag with it like your very own rocket ship. Sadly, that's all we've got time for today, but join us again on a fantastic new episode of Blue Peter. Stay safe and stay happy. Bye!